Welcome, everyone, to Education Quest's presentation of how the financial aid process works. My name is Reagan Anson, and I'll be your host for tonight. And I'm thrilled to be joined tonight by Jackie Butler, one of our awesome college planning specialists. Jackie, thank you so much for being here to walk us through this critical step in the college planning process.
Well, thank you for having me, Reagan.
Yes. Before we get started, I want to let our viewers know that tonight we're going to be giving away your choice of an awesome insulated coffee mug or an insulated water bottle. So we're going to put a link in the comments right now. So just click on it to register to win, and we'll announce the winner at the end of our presentation. So stay tuned for the whole thing because you're going to want to find out if you won. Also, please be sure to post any comments any questions that you have in the comment section as we go. Don't wait until the end. We don't want you to forget anything, and we will try to get to everybody's questions. So tonight, we're going to provide a quick overview of the steps students need to take to prepare for and complete the FAFSA, which is the free application for federal student aid. And for the purposes of shortening that, we're going to call it the FAFSA for the rest of the night.
Please do.
Yes, it's how students apply for federal, state, and college-based financial aid. And that includes grants, loans, and work-study funds. So for the purpose of our discussion tonight, so that the information applies to as many people as possible, we're going to go ahead and assume that we're talking about a high school senior, typical senior, who lives at home and will attend college a year from now. So with that, Jackie, we're going to dig right into our content. Let's first talk about how seniors and their families can get started. I know the first step is to create an account to file the FAFSA. What tips can you give our viewers?
Right. So you'll first need to go to studentaid.gov, and we will put that link into our comments section. Both the student and a custodial parent will each need to create a unique account. Write those account usernames and passwords down and keep them in a safe place for future use on the FAFSA or on the FAFSA form. One thing I will mention for students, when you're creating your account, do not use your school email address, because after you graduate from high school, you don't have access to that email account anymore. So if you don't have a personal email, I would recommend setting one up at Gmail or Hotmail or Yahoo, something like that.
Excellent advice. And so people know, this is the FAFSA, you have to fill it out every year that you're in college. It's not just a one and done. So keep that in mind. Let's jump into some items that people will need to complete the FAFSA, because there is some information that needs to be gathered in advance. So let's focus first on the income part of the equation. What do people need for that?
Okay, so you'll need your 2021 federal income tax returns and W-2s for both the student and parents. So when you're looking through that packet, make sure those W-2s are there, because it's really important. There's some information on them that we can't get off of the tax return. Also, any corresponding schedules. We'll also need some other untaxed income, such as veterans non-education benefits received in 2021 and child support paid or received in 2021.
Okay, so what about assets? What needs to be reported on the FAFSA with those?
Okay, so for assets, we're asking for current value, the value of your checking and savings accounts, any investments such as stocks, savings bonds, CDs, mutual funds, the 529 college savings plan as well. For parents, if you have multiple children and you have a 529 account set up for each of them, you will have to report the entire balance of your 529 accounts, because they are transferable from one student or one child to the next. In certain situations, you'll have to report the value of your business or investment farm. We'll talk more about that in our next webinar in October. But in the meantime, we'll put a link in the comments section that you'll be able to go go to our FAFSA tutorial, and there are specific details that can be found by clicking the Parent Business Farm Value tab on the lower left-hand corner. So again, that link will be in our comments section. But it's always best to use our FAFSA checklist for a complete listing of information required on the FAFSA. And also, we will put a link to the FAFSA checklist in the comments section.
There's a lot of links, but it's a lot of great information, and you're going to need it. So, the FAFSA asks for tax information that's from almost 2 years ago, and a lot can change in that amount of time. If a family's financial situation has changed, maybe a family or a parent has lost a job or passed away, what happens in that instance?
Well, that's a great question, Reagan. It's a tough situation for families to be in, but they do have some options. So our recommendation is to contact the financial aid office or offices at the colleges that the student listed on their FAFSA form. Those schools or those financial aid departments may be able to adjust the FAFSA results, to reflect the family's current situation.
That's great advice. Before we go any further, for those who may just now be joining us, or as a reminder for those who were here earlier, we are going to be giving away a viewer's choice of an insulated water bottle or coffee mug tonight. So there's a link in the comments. Go ahead and find that. All you have to do is click and fill out a quick form to register to win, and we're going to announce the winner at the end of our presentation. Also, as a reminder, please go ahead and post any questions that come to mind in the comments, and we're going to get to those shortly. So going back to our presentation, Jackie, so let's say students are now ready to complete the FAFSA. When and how do they apply?
So the 23-24 FAFSA opens up this October 1st at studentaid.gov. So as mentioned earlier, we did put that link in the comments section. Mark your calendars now. There's a lot of value in completing it early. An ideal time frame is to have it completed by the end of December or before. It's Reagan. On our October 5th live stream, we'll answer many FAFSA related questions that families may have. But if you'd like Education Quest to assist you in completing the FAFSA, please call the Education Quest office nearest you to schedule an appointment. You can do that in person or virtually. And as a reminder, we are a free service.
Yes, it's a great service. If you're having trouble or just have a quick question too, we can take a quick call and try to help you through it. So after a student submits their FAFSA, how do they know it's being processed?
So 3 to 5 days after the FAFSA is submitted, the student will receive an email from Federal Student Aid. That email verifies that the FAFSA was filed and passed on to the colleges that were listed on the FAFSA form. It also contains a link to the Student Aid Report, or SAR for short. That SAR indicates if the student is Pell Grant eligible. It also indicates that the student was selected for verification, which means additional action is required. The SAR also may be needed for some need-based scholarships.
So Jackie, you mentioned verification, and that sounds scary. I know it's not, but can you explain to our viewers what that is and what that means?
Sure. So the Federal Department of Education selects a small percentage of students to review their FAFSA to ensure that information is being reported correctly. So it's kind of a checks and balances, if you will. If you are selected for verification, don't panic. There's nothing, you didn't do anything wrong necessarily. It doesn't mean you did anything wrong. The college will request additional documentation for some of the FAFSA information that you reported. So students, particularly, an email will be sent to the student, or they need to watch their student portal. So the college will contact the student to let them know if they have been selected for verification. If that's the case, you want to respond as soon as possible. Colleges will not award financial aid until the verification process has been completed.
Great. So my understanding is that students will receive financial aid offers from all of the colleges they listed on their FAFSA. Is that correct?
Reagan, yes and no.
Okay.
So the college will only send financial aid offers to students who have applied for admission and been accepted to the college. So if you list a college or multiple colleges on your FAFSA form, you need to make sure that you've applied for admission so you get a reply and a financial aid offer from those institutions.
That is good to know. So, what might be included in a financial aid offer?
The offer will include the types and amounts of financial aid being offered to the student. So that can include scholarships, grants, work study, and federal loans.
Great. So, if a student gets financial aid offers from several colleges,
Mhm.
what's the best way to know, or how do they know which is the best deal?
So really what you want to do, Reagan, is you want to compare the financial aid offers to the student that the student has received. So um, how much did each college offer you in scholarships and grants, particularly? Because scholarships and grants is money that is free to the student. And then ask yourself or find out the scholarships that are being offered. Are those renewable? That's really important as well. Can you receive those scholarship dollars year after year? How much will you have to borrow if you do have to borrow at all? And then if you still have unmet need, calculate your out-of-pocket expenses. So how much do you still have to come up with to meet that direct cost of education?
Great. So, if a student loan is on the financial aid offer, what does that process of acceptance look like?
So the college that you select, eventually, down the road, April, May, the college that you end up selecting will tell you how to apply for the parent and student loans. If they're both offered, if they're needed and they are not offered, you can certainly request them from the college. We'll cover this in detail more in our November live stream, but typically the loan process happens in late spring or the summer prior to the start of college.
That's really helpful, Jackie. Listen, if you're ready, how about we take a couple of questions from our viewers?
Sure.
I think we have one already, but encourage anyone with a question to go ahead and get those posted and we will answer them. So the first question is, when can we sign up for help with the FAFSA for current college students?
So actually, we're taking phone calls right now for appointments. So people have been busy calling the last couple of weeks. You can call anytime to schedule after October on or after October 3rd, because October 3rd is a Monday. So we're open Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 5. So anytime you can give our offices a call and we'll get you on our calendar.
That's great. And yeah, if you want the phone numbers, go to educationquest.org. They're right at the bottom of the homepage. There's several places where we have information about how you can reach out to our staff. So, another question, Jackie. I graduate in 2024. When do I file the FAFSA?
Okay, so if my calculation is right, that student is currently a junior in high school.
Right.
So you cannot file the FAFSA until your senior year of high school. So that student will actually be filing the FAFSA next October of 2023. So they are filling it out almost a year in advance of starting college.
Right. So it's always usually the fall. Yeah. Yeah. When they start their senior year. So
Right.
that's great. So, before we get to our prize drawing and announce our winner, I want to offer a couple of reminders to our viewers. One, that we have some great ways to stay up to date with everything college related. First of all, follow up Education Quest on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. We post tons of great content on there, tips, tricks, all the things related to college going. You can also get a chance to win a $500 scholarship on each platform. So follow us on all the platforms. For every 250 new followers we get, we award a $500 Get Social scholarship, and it's easy money. It's the best way you can do to get a scholarship.
It
And
is.
the form is super easy. So you can also sign up for Countdown to College for important updates and deadlines. That is a monthly email, and we make sure we have the latest information that everyone's going to need about deadlines for scholarships and applications and things like that. So there will be a link in the comments. You can click there to sign up for Countdown to College. It looks like we do have another question that just came in. Jackie, do students have to report savings accounts on the FAFSA?
They do. So there is a parent financial section, and then following that, there will be a student financial section. So again, if the student, filed a tax return or has W-2s, they'll have to report that. They'll have to report any income and asset information.
Great. We had another question come in. Education Quest has locations set only in Nebraska. Can you help someone who is in a different state?
We certainly can. We are a Nebraska-based organization. We serve the Nebraska high schools and students in the state of Nebraska, but we're not going to turn someone down, if they're needing help. So, yeah.
Right. Had another question about what our topic is for our next live stream. And I know the answer to that. It's on October 5th, and it's going to be how to complete the FAFSA. So Jackie and I are going to dive in and get into some nitty-gritty details about the FAFSA that we think will be super helpful for everybody who's ready to fill out an application. So, and for the student who asked about the savings account, man, I hope you have a lot of money in there. Good for you. Yeah. So anyway, like Jackie was saying too, you can make appointments at Education Quest. Our help is free for anyone who calls us. We are a nonprofit and we offer all of our services for free. So you can visit educationquest.org for the location information, phone numbers, email addresses for our people, and we will be happy to set up virtual appointments or in person, whatever works for you. Finally, I don't want you to forget, we just talked about it, but don't want you to forget to mark your calendars for our next live stream on October 5th at 7 p.m., where our focus will be on how to complete the FAFSA. Now it's the moment I'm pretty sure everybody's been waiting for. The winner of our drawing for a free water bottle or coffee mug is Quinn Stewart Hernandez. Quinn, congratulations. We're going to reach out to you via email with details, and we'll get something mailed out to you right away. So, Jackie, thank you so much for sharing all your expertise and insight. It's invaluable, I know, to all of our viewers. And I want to thank all of our viewers for joining us tonight. And we're going to see you right back here on October 5th. So until then, take care.
Bye.